The U.S. dollar is a terribly flawed currency. I mean, the U.S. is the largest debtor in the history of the world. I'm not the only person who knows that. I'm not the only person who knows that that's going to cause problems someday. But today, silver is cheaper on a historic basis. Silver is down 60% from its all-time high or something. Gold is at an all-time high. So obviously, on a historic basis, silver is cheaper. I'm not buying either today, but if I were buying one today, I would buy silver.
China's economy is in a funk, and people are rushing out to buy gold as a safe haven asset to hedge against economic uncertainties, sending precious metal prices to record highs. The country's central bank has also gotten into the act. Official data released on Tuesday revealed that the central bank added a substantial 60,000 troy ounces of gold to its stash in April alone, marking the 18th consecutive month of such acquisitions. Meanwhile, amidst China's economic challenges, the value of the Chinese yuan has been subject to fluctuations against the US dollar. Year to date, the yuan has experienced a 1.6% decline relative to the dollar, with a more significant 4% drop observed over the past 12 months. This downward trajectory extends even further, with the yuan depreciating by approximately 12% against the greenback since the beginning of 2022. Renowned investor Jim Rogers underscores the potential impact of deteriorating US-China relations on the economic landscape. The possibility of heightened diplomatic tensions, prompting China to reevaluate its reliance on the US dollar in international trade transactions, is a significant concern. In a hypothetical scenario where tensions escalate, China may pivot towards alternative payment currencies, such as the renminbi, euros, gold, or other viable options. This potential shift could have far-reaching implications for global currency dynamics, exerting profound influences on global financial markets and geopolitical relations worldwide. Jim Rogers observes that gold and silver are emerging as compelling alternatives to traditional currencies, attracting attention from investors, including fervent gold enthusiasts, often referred to as gold bugs. Both precious metals boast rich historical legacies as international currencies, with silver, in particular, playing a prominent role throughout ancient times. While silver may present an appealing investment proposition due to its comparatively lower price on a historical basis, Jim suggests that the decision to invest in gold or silver should be guided by individual financial goals and a thorough understanding of market dynamics. We will present clips from Jim Rogers' interview with Silver Bullion TV. But before we do, if you want more videos like this, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell for more updates. Thank you, and enjoy the video.
Logical competitor to the U.S. dollar should be the Chinese renminbi, but then my next sentence was, but there are many controls in China, and that makes it impossible for the renminbi to be the world's competing currency. You can't have a competing currency where you have to go through 100 different things just to use it. People who are out there in the world, if they want to buy a loaf of bread, they don't want a problem. They just want to go buy a loaf of bread. So I haven't found that currency yet. I don't know what it's going to be, but I am looking. That has always happened throughout history with a country and a currency. That probably will happen with the U.S. dollar because the U.S. dollar is a terribly flawed currency. I mean, the U.S. is the largest debtor in the history of the world. I'm not the only person who knows that. I'm not the only person who knows that that's going to cause problems someday. But also, yes, China's a huge economy, a huge everything. But it's not so simple to make the Chinese renminbi the world's competing currency yet. I don't see something else. Logically, it should be the renminbi, but there are many reasons that it cannot be yet. Maybe someday, probably will be someday, but someday is not next week. There are many people, lots of gold bugs, who think it will be gold, but gold has always had problems too throughout history. Silver, silver has been the international currency more than gold had. You remember Jesus Christ? He was sold for 30 pieces of silver. he was not sold for 30 pieces of gold because silver was the money in that part of the world then. The U.S., when the U.S. was established, it was based on a silver standard. The first American Currency Act, 1792 or whatever it was, silver was the basis for the U.S. dollar. Now that changed, but I'm just saying, throughout history, silver has been an extremely important medium of exchange, might be again, but neither silver nor gold can solve our problem now because there are too many problems with silver and gold. So I don't know the answer. I'm looking.
I think gold and silver might not be the answer, but it might be part of the answer.
Well,
because
if we have a gigantic catastrophe next month, people might grab gold and silver because they don't know what else. Then I don't know either. There's nothing else. But throughout history, silver and gold standards have ultimately led to problems too. That's why they've obviously lasted a long time at times in history. But the reason they haven't lasted forever is because gold and silver have their own problems. But today, silver is cheaper on a historic basis. Silver is down 60% from its all-time high or something. Gold is at an all-time high. So obviously, on a historic basis, silver is cheaper. I'm not buying either today, but if I were buying one today, I would buy silver.
The US national debt is reaching alarming heights, soaring relentlessly despite criticism of excessive government spending. As of Tuesday afternoon, it stood at a staggering $34 trillion, a figure that continues to escalate. This exponential increase contrasts starkly with the debt levels of just 4 decades ago, when it hovered around a mere $907 billion. Jim points out the trend of the US debt's continuous rise, prompting apprehension among nations regarding the reliance on the US dollar. This growing unease underscores the need for an alternative currency. However, history has shown that transitioning from one dominant currency to another can trigger significant disruptions in global financial systems, as witnessed when the pound sterling lost its prominence years ago. As countries explore potential alternatives, uncertainty looms over what currency might emerge as the next international standard. While speculation abounds regarding the Chinese yuan's potential role, its lack of convertibility, or the ease with which it can be exchanged for other currencies, poses a significant hurdle. Any shift from the US dollar is anticipated to bring about substantial turmoil, reminiscent of past instances when dominant currencies underwent transitions. Let's get back to the interview.
No currency has remained as the number one currency more than 150 years, ever in history. The U.S. has been there. It's been there a long time. And the U.S. is now the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. I don't particularly like saying that. I'm an American citizen. I own a lot of U.S. dollars, by the way. But I can see that eventually there's a big problem going to develop. I can remember when the pound sterling, a few decades ago, lost its status. It caused big problems for the world, and especially for Britain and the British Empire, the British Commonwealth in those days. And it caused problems for the world, because if you have a transition from one currency to something else, the transition causes problems. And as I said, I own a lot of US dollars, but I know that with the transition, when it becomes serious, it's going to cause a lot of turmoil, just as every other currency has caused turmoil when it changed. The US debt continues to go up every day, and eventually the people already, in fact, there are many countries now looking for something to compete with the US dollar. I don't know what it's going to be yet. If you know, please don't announce it. I want to buy. I want to buy a lot of them because I don't know what it's going to be yet. Well, as I said before, whenever there's a transition from the world's reserve currency to something else, there's always turmoil. There was when the pound sterling lost its status. There was a lot of turmoil in the world. You may not, well, you were a child, but many people knew about the turmoil. It caused lots of problems in the world, and that's going to happen again. When the U.S. dollar starts losing its status, it's going to cause a lot of turmoil for a lot of people, a lot of economies, and a lot of companies. Has to. And as I say, the easy thing would be if we know where to go. You know, when the sterling started losing its status, people knew, the U.S. dollar. We can move to the U.S. dollar, and they did. But when the U.S. dollar starts losing its status, and it's starting now, but I don't know where to go. I don't know a new competing international currency. Yes, it could be, it should be China, but the Chinese currency is not convertible. I mean, you can't buy and sell it like you can buy and sell the euro or the Australian dollar or something. So the renminbi cannot be the world's currency as long as it's a blocked currency.
Right.
So I don't know what it's going to be.
Amidst economic challenges and growing demand for safe haven assets like gold, attention is shifting towards silver as it shows signs of a bullish reversal. Analysts anticipate silver to breach the $30 mark, unseen since the pandemic peak, signaling promising prospects for investors. Silver's resilience amidst geopolitical tensions and market uncertainties makes it an attractive investment amid fluctuating currencies and deteriorating US-China relations. With its essential industrial role and upward trajectory, silver offers a promising outlook for investors and stakeholders. Share your thoughts on Jim's prediction in the comment section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Until next time.